My sleep is gone, my heart is full of sorrow. I can't believe how much I've let you down. I dread to see what waits for me tomorrow, when the sun reveals my broken dreams scattered on the ground. Please forgive me. I need your grace to make it through. All I have is you. I'm at your mercy. Lord, I'll serve you until my dying day. Help others find the way. I'm at your mercy. Please forgive me. I can't believe the God of earth and glory would take the time for some soul like me. But I read in the Bible that old story, how he pled for my forgiveness while he was dying on a tree. Please forgive me. I need your grace to make it through. All I have is you. I'm at your mercy. Lord, I'll serve you until my dying day. Help others find the way. I'm at your mercy. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. I need your grace to make it through. All I have is you. I'm at your mercy. Lord, I'll serve you until my dying day. Help others find the way. I'm at your mercy. Please forgive me.
Good morning and welcome to the Stanfield Church of God. We're so glad to be with you this morning, and we want you to enjoy this time together. I know that we're not getting to be together right here in the building, but that will come later. But today I want to start off with our service and go right ahead and get into it, and I sure hope that you have enjoyed Cliff's song, and I'll give you a little bit of information on that. That song that Cliff sang was done here a few weeks back during the sound check, and now that song has almost had 13,000 views. So Cliff, keep it up. The title of my message today, and I'll give you a little bit of this, and the title of my message today is a long one, and it says, as Peter was sleeping, chains were falling off and gates were opening up. King Herod was very upset at the people of God. He wanted to take as many as he could. He wanted to take them out and do away with them. Bad plan. As I was sitting in my office studying, the went in and I was thinking about the plan that her had, the thought came to me, you don't mess with what God's about to bless. And with our families, in our church, in our community, been through a very rough season the last few weeks. We have lost 3 people that we dearly, dearly loved. Carl Douglas, Eric Baird, and Richard Hensley. Richard Hensley had pastored many, many churches up in the state of Ohio and did a great work for God. And Carl, and he was one of those two that went out and made sure that people were taken care of and made sure that they heard about the good news of the gospel. Eric was the same way. Eric went in and always made sure that everything was done, and he wanted to help and make sure it was done right. All 3 of these men has gone over to the good side. All 3 of them is in heaven today. They call it home now. Let's just bow our heads and pray for those families, if we could, in this church, in our community. Dear Jesus, we come before you today. Heavenly Father, we come before you with a heavy heart because of the loved ones, the friends, the family, Lord, that has went on in just the last few days. And Jesus, I ask you to touch those families. I ask you to move for them. I ask you to touch Mary and Michael and, Lord, those grandkids. And, Lord, I ask you to touch and move. Lord, and I ask you, Lord, to comfort them in a special way. And, Lord, I ask you to touch Robin. I ask you to touch Cliff. I ask you to touch Johnny Mac. And, Jesus, I ask you, Lord, to touch Brother Hensley, Lord, family. Lord, touch Stephen, touch them and all the friends. And, Lord, the friends that these fine men had, I ask you to touch them and comfort them and be with them also. And, Lord, let their legacy live on many, many years. And, Lord, help us today as we go in this service. Touch us and help us. And, Lord, anoint us as we preach your word. And everyone said, amen. I'll be taking my text from Acts 12, verses 5, starting in verse 5. And it reads, Peter therefore kept in prison, but constant prayer was offered to God for him by the church. And when Herod was about to bring him out that night, Peter was sleeping, bound with chains, 2 chains, between 2 soldiers. The guards before the door were keeping the prison. Verse 7, now behold, an angel of the Lord stood by him, and the light shined in the prison. And he struck Peter on the side and raised him up, saying, arise quickly. And the chains fell off of his hands. Then the angel said to him, gird yourself, if to tie on your sandals. And he did. And he said to him, put on your garments and follow me. Verse 9. So he went out and followed him, and did not know what was done by the angel was real, but thought he was seeing a vision. Verse 10. Then they were past the first and the second guard post. They came to the iron gate that leads to the city. And they went out and down the street, and that gate opened by its own accord. Immediately the angel departed from him. Verse 11. Then when Peter came to himself, he said, now I know for certain that the Lord has sent his angel and delivered me from the hand of Herod and all expectation of the Jewish people. The Jews were after him, and they wanted something bad to happen to him, but God delivered him. Verse 12. So when he had considered this, he came to the house of Mary, the mother of John, whose surname was Mark, where many were gathered there together praying. And Peter knocked at the door, and a girl named Rhoda came to answer. And when she recognized Peter's voice, because of the gladness, she did not open the gate, but ran in and announced to Peter, stood before the gate. But they said to her, You are beside yourself." Yet she kept insisting that it was so. So they said, "It's an angel." Now Peter continued knocking. And when they opened their door and saw him, they were astonished. But motioning to them with his hand to keep silent. "Oh, don't be telling everybody I'm here. I just escaped. Don't tell everybody I'm here." And how the Lord brought him out of the prison. And he said, "Go tell these things to James and to the brethren." And he departed and went to another place. God can move when everything looks impossible. When the people were praying, it looked bad, but they kept praying. And you can tell King Herod was upset here. You can tell that he was very upset because his plan to kill Peter and put out the fire, you might say, that was happening, when he went in, he goes in and Peter has escaped, and now what is he going to do? Peter was chained, they tell us, by at least 12 guards. Apparently they were afraid that Peter was going to escape. But they put all these guards, he put all these soldiers around him, and he goes in because they were afraid that something was happening, and it did happen. God moved, and God answered prayer, and God moved in a mighty way. The plan failed. Herod's plan to have Peter murdered at daylight, no longer going to happen. Why did the plan fail? Constant prayer for the church. God sent an angel. God removed the chains. God opened the gate. And the guards slept on. There were things that was happening that Peter knew nothing about. Peter then realized that the prayers of the people had been answered. It looked like there were going to be more disturbing news when they went in to pray. And have you ever went into your prayer closet or went into your place where you pray, and when you went in, you know you were facing a battle, you know you were facing a situation that may not come out too good, that there may not be any good news? But I want to share with you something today. Even though that those folks went in and they started praying, they started seeking God, they realized they must keep praying because everything looked bad. When you go in and everything that is told to you, everything that you see, when it looks bad and you still go in and you try to have faith, you go in and you pray, and the thing of it is, I'll be honest with you, not everybody's going to be in agreement that this is going to turn out okay. Not everybody's got enough faith to believe that it's going to turn out good. But you know something? We have learned and we have been taught over the years, it don't matter what it looks like, it don't matter what's going on. You keep praying, you keep trusting in God, and you hold on. No matter what, you hold on and you keep praying. I believe today that the bad news, I feel this one. Whew. I feel today the bad news is over. I feel today that we've went in to a change. There's been a change in the atmosphere. There's been a change in what God is doing. The bad news is over. God is moving. The devil has lost the battle. And God has won again. I believe that we've entered a new season. The old season has passed. And we've entered into a new season. As Peter was sleeping, chains were falling off. As Peter was sleeping, gates were starting to be opened in your life, no matter what's going on. God will let you know He's got it under control. While you're on your knees praying, He's already answered. But you still got to keep praying. I'm speaking to somebody today that God's already answered. But you haven't went to the door yet to see who's knocking. You not went to the door to see what God has done. God has answered your prayer. God has met your needs. There's going to be days that you just cannot believe. You don't have enough faith to believe that God's going to move in your situation. You try. You dig down deep, but some days you don't have the faith to believe that God's going to move that mountain. That's where others are praying and seeking God on your behalf and for your situation. There's going to be days that you feel like that you've lost all hope. You can't see what's happening. You've lost hope because you think that God didn't answer the prayer the way you thought He should the last time. But the good news is God answered the prayer for the best on your behalf and on others' behalf. But you still got to keep praying and trusting in God and believing in God. Why is the enemy fighting so hard? Why? You feel like you've been under attack for a long time. You feel like it's about over. You feel like you've been crushed, demolished, done away with, damaged, where you're not able to do what you want to do for God. But I'm here to tell you today, you still got a work to do. God still answers your prayer, and you're not damaged beyond repair. God's just getting to repair and do some healing on your behalf. Why is the enemy fighting? Because his plan for you and I, and our families, our church, our community, has failed. Before the plan even failed, God had another plan in place. He'd already put it in place. He already had it going. He already had it in the works. I'm here to tell you today, because of the battles we've been through, the things that we faced, there's going to be souls saved. We have learned not to give up and not to quit, not to give in. We have learned to hold on and to trust God no matter what is going on in our lives. I come by here to tell you today that God's opening gates. Chains are falling off, and God is opening gates that's never been opened before by themselves. Man has always done it, but now God's doing it. Souls are going to be saved in this church, in this community. Blessings are coming to the people of the house of God, the children of God. Blessings are coming. Your healing is coming. It's going to take place suddenly. It's going to take place, and you're going to be amazed at what God has done and how He done it. As Peter was sleeping, the chains were falling off and the gates were being opened. Chains falling off and the gates were being opened. Let's go back to verse 8. Acts 12, verse 8. Then the angel said, Gird yourself and tie on your sandals. Why do you say tie on your sandals? I don't know, but if I'm in a hurry, if I'm going to be doing some running and I'm going to be doing some mountain climbing, I got to have my sandals tied. Had a friend of mine that went hunting one time and didn't tie his boots. Didn't turn out too well. Put them sandals on, tie them, and get ready to do something. And the angel said to him, gird up yourself and tie on your sandals. And so he did. And he said to him, put on your garment and follow me. So he went out and followed him and did not know. He did not know what was done by the angel, that it was real. But he thought he was seeing a vision. I've got some good news. The season has changed. What you thought was going to happen didn't happen the way you thought it was. Didn't happen the way I thought it was. But I'll tell you one thing, it happened just exactly the way God said it was going to happen. It happened exactly the way God said it was going to happen. And it will, it has, and it will, and it's just getting started. You thought it was a vision, but it wasn't a vision. It's actually taking place in your life. Your prayers are coming and being answered. Your prayers has been heard, and now they're being answered. The chains are falling off and the gates are being opened. Things have been loosed on your behalf. Whew. They've been loosed on your behalf. Somebody got God's attention on your behalf. Somebody got through to God on your behalf. God stopped, said, who touched me? You did. You never gave up and you never quit. You never stopped believing. You got weak. You got tired. You thought you'd almost lost hope. But you held on. And God said, who touched me? You did. And now you're going to see what God can do in your life. God bless you. It's been a pleasure. Sorry about crying on you. It's okay. I love you. I appreciate you. We'll see you this time next week. God bless you and have a wonderful week. Give somebody a hug.